One Man's Family, winner of 47 national awards, a Carlton E. Morse creation. One Man's Family, now in its 27th year, is dedicated to the mothers and fathers of the younger generation and to their bewildering offspring. Chapter 32, Book 133 of the Barbour family saga. Today, wedding day in the afternoon. For well over an hour, the well-informed Mrs. Emily Stewart, with mother-of-pearl opera glasses ready for instant action, has been sitting beside her front window surveying Seacliff Drive as she chatters with an unexpected luncheon guest, one Ross Farnsworth. This incident, along with other complicating factors, has provided Jack Barbour with a dreary period of acute frustration, broken at last by the ringing of the telephone in his living room.
Yes, hello?
Jack, Nicky's here now.
Oh, thanks, Claude. I'll be right over.
He hastens out the back door, hurtles into his car, and with a last look at Emily's window, drives swiftly 6 blocks straight down to his sister Claudia's, where he meets with another frustration and finds as he goes in the front door that he will be unable to speak freely.
Yes, I told your mother, Claudia.
Oh, no. Claude, where's Nicky?
After all, since it's a February wedding, it is better to have it over here. My garden couldn't have produced such an abundance of flowers if I'd planned a year.
Pardon me, Dad. Jack? Oh, there you are.
Hi, where's Nicky?
I'll get him. He's bringing in the wedding gifts. Excuse me.
Yes. Oh, your hair is on end.
Well, it's not too surprising.
Oh, anything wrong?
Oh, the usual wedding day hassle with a few new ones added.
Ross Farnsworth still sitting there in the window with Emily Stewart waiting for 4 o'clock?
Yep, still there.
On the stroke of 4, he'll go over and harass Joan on her wedding day.
Well, Dad, the court gave him rights of visitation. Nothing you can do about that.
I'll tell you why he's at Emily's. He's consumed with curiosity about Raymond Borden. Emily will be a fountain of information. Insanely jealous, that's what he is.
I imagine any divorced man is jealous of his successor.
I'm sorry. Claudia said you called over an hour ago.
Hi, Nicky. Yeah, a couple items I'd like to go over.
And, Dad,
Huh?
may I have your advice out here? Will you come with me?
Yes, very well. Excuse me, please.
Surely.
Yeah, sure.
I'll give you some advice right now, Claudia. When there's something I'm not to know, there's no need to work out elaborate stratagems to get me out of the room. Let's simplify it. Whistle. I'll go.
Dad, don't be ridiculous. Now, what do you think about blocking off this entrance?
Let me close the door. I don't want to get people alarmed, but Ross Farnsworth has a gun with him.
How do you know?
Sharon. She was looking over the push buttons in Ross's car. There's a blue automatic in the glove compartment.
Wouldn't that be carrying concealed weapons?
Yeah.
Well, then, the police...
Oh, now wait. Police, reporters, morning papers, and headlines.
Oh.
Ex-husband arrested with gun at scene of Seacliff wedding. You'd have a field day with that one.
All right. Well, what do we do? Steal it?
Well, I'd have got it before now, but Ross and Emily are sitting right in the...
Boy Ireson with his hard heart. Oh, hi, Uncle Nicky. Uncle Jack.
Oh, Pinky, hello there.
Came over to see if there's anything I can do. Where's Aunt Claudia?
Wait a minute.
Sir?
Still looks young and nimble enough for a bit of thievery, wouldn't you say, Nicky?
Thievery.
Oh, Pinky, I heard someone come in. Hello there. You're up early.
You'll have to excuse him, Claude.
I came over to see if there's something I can do, and I guess there is.
Yeah, he's going into conference with me on the back porch. Oh, Dad, I didn't see you.
Yes. Traffic is building up. Oh, well, Pinky, you're up early.
Hi, Grandfather. Well, what do you want, Uncle Jack?
Let's find a sanctuary somewhere.
Yeah.
Dad, tell Nicky what you just told me. That wonderful phrase, paranoidal overtones, you know?
Oh, it sounds alarming.
Oh, yes, Nicholas. I quoted a phrase of Paul's which came popping back into my mind. At the time Ross first deserted Joan, Paul called him a borderline psychotic with paranoidal overtones.
Isn't that descriptive? Takes care of everything.
Well, it has a frighteningly clinical sound.
Yes, I was saying to Claudia, what other words could be used to describe a man who leers and boasts of his skill with pistols? I'd have him thrown in jail. Call it crime for instance.
Well, there's one difficulty, Father Barbour. His traits are only by implication. The police can't arrest a man because his former in-laws consider him unstable and assume that he may go berserk. And as Jack points out, you call in officials and you also call in the press. And we've had more than enough of that.
Nicky?
Yes, Jack, I'm right here.
Pinky will run that errand for us.
Why not? I came over here looking for something to do.
We'll see you later.
You want a car?
Oh, mine's out in front. Come on, Pink.
See you.
I'll go out with you. I'll get the door.
Yeah. Do you know what they're up to?
No, I really don't, Dad.
Curious?
Are you?
Certainly. So are you. They are trying not to worry us. Only makes it worse. Here it is. I will match your $10 contribution to the community chest that I find out before you do.
Do you think that's fair? You've had so much more practice.
Bet? Yes or no?
Yes.
Shake hands. You're right. They have forced me into deductive reasoning. This has something to do with Ross Farnsworth and a gun. You mark my words.
We'll return in just a moment to One Man's Family.
There are many isms in the world of today, some good, some bad. But there is one ism there can never be enough of, humanitarianism. Here's a little episode illustrating how a United States Air Force sergeant and his wife combined a bit of humanitarianism with Americanism, and how, even though handicapped by a language barrier, their efforts worked out very well. It all happened on a dingy street in Fukuoka, Japan. A Japanese couple suddenly dashed out into the street, the woman clutching a baby in her arms. The couple signaled frantically, but the traffic flowed by, ignoring their efforts for help. Finally, one car came to a stop. The occupants were Tech Sergeant Oliver A. Morris and his wife, out to enjoy a late afternoon and evening off duty. What moved Sergeant Morris to stop? Later he found that hard to explain, unless perhaps it just seemed the human thing to do, for neither he nor his wife knew any Japanese. Yet those pathetic figures in the street somehow conveyed great distress and urgency. Sergeant Morris sensed there was something to be done, and in a hurry. Much later, he learned the baby had been seized with convulsions. The parents had rushed to a small hospital nearby, and its only doctor was out. They knew of another physician a mile and a half away, and were trying to flag down a taxi when Sergeant Morris came along. The airman bundled them into his car and sped off in their search for a doctor, whom they finally succeeded in locating. When the spasms of the baby were finally checked, the woman looked up with brimming eyes and said, as an interpreter translated, "My husband and I, we have been afraid of Americans before. Now we are glad to know such fine people." It cost the Morrises much of the carefree evening they had previously planned, but their unselfish actions towards that Japanese family brought a feeling of goodwillism that will never be forgotten. Sergeant Morris and his wife also gave all of us a thought to remember. We are Americans. As we go, so goes America.
It's 40 minutes later. Ross Farnsworth's car is still parked at the curb outside Emily Stewart's. The front curtains, which had been drawn aside, are now back in place, but figures can be seen in the background. Jack and his brother-in-law, Nicholas Lacey, waiting in the front hall at the family home, are becoming impatient. Nicky glances at the grandfather clock.
Where is the lad?
Still can't see him. It's my guess he got into the car from this side while we were coming up the back steps. He's afraid to move.
What would Pinky's instructions?
Get the gun, that's all.
I'll take full responsibility if anything goes wrong.
There'll be enough trouble to go around. We'll all be sharing it.
Fanny!
Oh, Dad, she's not around. Let's go in the library. Here in the library, Nicky's with me. Come on in.
I once asked Claudia, if she couldn't answer, why do you still keep things from the old gentleman? Force of habit?
Well, he somehow adds to the general confusion. We'd be slowed down by a debate on ethics.
Yes, I know. He's thorough, but he's sound.
Well, occasionally you don't have time to be thorough.
What is Pinky up to?
Where did you see him?
He moved so fast I couldn't be sure. I thought I saw him leaping across the street from Emily Stewart's.
Going where?
Into your house, I thought. Does he know you're in here?
I guess not. Look out the window, Nicky. Is he over there?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Here he comes, through the hedge.
Here.
Oh, I'll go let him in.
The door isn't locked, Jack. Jack?
Sir?
What is going on? Why don't you tell me? I'd like to help.
Well, Dad, you tell him, Nicky. Oh, Pinky, you're in the library.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wow. How long was I over there?
We were told Ross is carrying a weapon in his car.
Yes, no surprise to me.
Well, they were both sitting in the front, well, right there in the front window. So I waited to duck across. Then, when I got in the car, I didn't dare move. I had to scrunch way down and wait. Brother, every time I peeked out, they were watching the street.
Where's the gun?
It wasn't there, Uncle Jack.
Oh, I say.
No, sir. Gloves and a box of bullets, but no gun. After Sharon saw it there, he probably remembered and went out and got it. So he must have it with him.
And at 4 o'clock, he will call at Jones' house with a gun in his pocket. Reporters be hanged. Jack, Nicholas, get on the phone. Let's call the police.
More of the Barbours in just a moment.
This is Jim Amici. Are you from Alabama? In the year 1540, Hernando de Soto and his band of treasure seekers were the first white men to look upon the part of the New World which is now the state of Alabama. In the more than 400 years since de Soto and his men made their exploration, Alabama has grown to a state with a population of more than 3 million people. It's become the leading heavy industry state in the southern part of the United States. Birmingham, its principal manufacturing center, is called the Pittsburgh of the South. Alabama is a leading producer of lumber, marble, petroleum, and dolomite. Its farmlands produce cotton, corn, hay, and sweet potatoes. Alabama, the 22nd state to join the Union, has contributed much to the heritage of America. In the years ahead, Alabama will add much to America's future.
In the library, Jack tosses a glance at Nicky as if to ask if he's satisfied. Minutes have slipped away, and the situation has entered the predicted state of confusion.
I say commit Ross for observation. At least you'd have him locked up during the wedding.
And if he isn't psychotic, he can sue you for the gold fillings in your teeth.
May I come in?
Sure, big debate. Everybody welcome.
I want Ross locked up before he takes it into his head to harm the children.
You're a little late, Dad. He's driving into Jones' driveway right this minute.
Well, excuse me.
I'll go with you.
Hey, wait, I'm coming too.
Shut the door, Pinky.
Huh?
Well, what's all that? Or don't you know?
Certainly I know. Certainly I know. I'll collect later. You owe $10 to charity. Jack, Nicholas, I'll talk to Ross while you call the police. Yes, wait, let me handle this.
One Man's Family, which comes to you Monday through Friday, is written by Harlan Ware and directed by Carlton E. Morse. This program has been selected to be heard by our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. In Chapter 33, Book 133, Wedding Day at 4 p.m., Frank Barton speaking. One Man's Family, winner of 47 national awards, now in its 27th year, is a Carlton E. Morse production and comes to you from California.
One Man's Family has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
One Man's Family, brought to you, transcribed by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, Nervine, and many other fine, dependable pharmaceutical products. Overheard on the side porch at the Sky Ranch as Henry Barbour tries to break up a gossip session.
Oh,
Yes, I'm going down to my hammock for a little while. If anyone cares to join me, I'll be there at my hammock.
I guess they didn't hear you, Grandfather.
Yeah, that's where I'll be, at my hammock.
And so, with 2 books and a magazine under his arm, Henry trudges off alone to his hammock. Authorities don't agree on the number of hours of sleep the average person needs each night, but they will agree whether it's 5, 6, 8 hours, sleep is very important. Of course, you know this because on the nights when you sleep like a top, you always seem to feel on top the next day. But there are times when jumpy, on-edge nerves won't let you sleep. These are the times to take Miles Nervine. That's Miles Nervine, friends, a fine product that has been used by thousands to help them relax and get to sleep. You'll find Miles Nervine ever so soothing and effective in helping you to relax and let you sleep. Try it next time nervous tension keeps you awake. Yes, get Miles Nervine from your druggist right away. Effervescent tablets or liquid. Follow the label. Avoid excessive use. Remember, that's Miles Nervine to help relieve nervous tension so you can enjoy good, sound sleep. Chapter 29, Book 96. Henry Barbour, in his hammock between the 2 madrone trees, manages to keep abreast of the flow of activity at the Sky Ranch. He can hear voices from the swimming pool, catch a glimpse of riders on the bridle path, see the pickup truck as it moves along the winding gravel driveway on the almost daily trips in town, and, too, he has informative visitors. But for an hour now, he has heard only the pulsing quiet of a pleasant July afternoon. Now he puts aside his book, crosses the green lawn toward the swimming pool, and sees there his grandson, Hank Murray, sunning himself at the end of the springboard, his tan, muscular body looking so fit and youthful that Henry, coming in, gives vent to an unconscious sigh that might be envy.
Hello there, Hank. All alone?
Oh, hi, Grandfather.
Where is everybody?
Oh, still gossiping, I guess. There was quite a gang in there, talking with Mom and Margaret.
Yeah.
I expect Maggie out here in a minute. Stick around.
Unusually quiet around here this afternoon.
Well, it often is when somebody new comes out from town. They have to chatter for a while and catch up on things at home.
Yeah.
Want to move over here under a cabana out of the sun?
Yeah. Very indolent air about the place.
I was just sitting out there on the springboard thinking that I'm beginning to like being lazy. Bad habit to get into.
Oh, you deserve a good vacation, Hank. You'll find next fall the work will come a little easier for the rest you've had.
Well, maybe so. What I'm afraid of is I'll develop a taste for loafing.
Oh, not you, my boy, not you.
Hi, Grandfather.
Margaret, I wondered what happened to you.
Going swimming, Maggie?
Uh-huh. Any particular dressing room I should use?
No, any of them. Oh, wait, the kids' rubber seahorses are in the one to the left there. Kind of crowded.
Where did Penelope go, Margaret?
She went out riding, Grandfather, right after lunch.
Yeah.
See you in a minute.
There are some extra bathing caps in the lockers, Maggie.
I brought my own, thanks.
You know, Hank, I'm most aware of the passing years when something like this happens, like this afternoon.
What?
Oh, when Margaret was a little girl, she spent long hours with me down there at the hammock, asking questions, telling me her own wonderful discovery. We were great friends when she was a little girl.
Well, you are still, aren't you?
Oh, surely. But the interests change, you know, Hank. Quite naturally, she'd prefer to be with the women gossiping there on the side porch. It's perfectly natural.
Well, you've got no end of other kids coming along to take her place, Grandfather.
They grow up too, Hank. Haven't seen Mary Lou for 5 minutes today. Nor Sharon Ann either.
Well, Father, I was surprised to see the hammock swinging in the breeze.
Yeah, Hazel, I was down there alone for a long time. Nobody came down there.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were talking politics, believe it or not.
Mom, where's your bathing suit?
Oh, I'll go in a little later, Hank.
Uh-huh. Hold your arm out. Here, beside mine. Hold it out. Push up your sleeve.
Oh. My word. Hank, you're a mahogany color.
What would you say she was, Grandfather?
The pale face.
Fish belly white, wouldn't you say?
Oh, Hank.
You city slickers actually look unhealthy when you first get up here.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Speaking of pure lily white, look at Maggie.
Yeah.
Don't make it of self-conscious, Hank. The new bathing suit looks very nice, Margaret.
Oh, thanks.
Maggie, that water's a little chilly first time you hit it.
I took a good cold shower. Well, here I
Oh, kind of flat.
Goodness.
Oh, that must hurt.
Here she comes.
go. Oh, darn it. What did I do wrong, Hank?
Didn't go high enough, honey.
I'll do better next time.
The girl looks thin to me, Hazel.
Yeah, kind of skinny, Mom.
Oh, it's that suit. She wanted a bathing suit like Penny, so Dan got her one. Where'd Penny go? She disappeared all of a sudden.
Oh, she rides off into the hills by herself. It's kind of a lone wolf youngster. Rides for hours at a time. Well, hurts me to watch, Margaret.
Where are you going, Father?
I'll be down in my hammock. Anybody wants to come by, they'll find me there.
I'll be down to visit with you, Father.
Yeah, don't let Margaret get burned now. That skin's pretty white.
Maggie, try it again, and this time get a little more spring into it.
Oh, I'll get it right if it takes all afternoon.
You know, I'll never understand Penny, Mom. Why, she acted kind of excited and pleased when she heard that you and Margaret were coming up, and then as soon as you get here, she ducks out.
I know.
I don't get it.
She's an odd, moody youngster, Hank.
You never know what's eating her.
Now watch me, Mom.
Oh, poor Maggie.
We're watching, dear. Here.
Yeah, that was a good one. Ah, good, Maggie.
Oh, Margaret, that was fine.
100%.
Oh, it felt much better, too.
I'll bet.
I think I'd better come out now and rest on my honors.
Where's your robe, dear?
Right here, Mom. Got my sandals, too.
Maggie, come here a second.
Huh?
Come here.
What?
Look over toward the hammock. Is Grandfather there?
Uh-huh. He's reading.
Look, just between us, I think his feelings are kind of hurt.
Why?
Well, you know, Mom, when we were little kids, we all spent hours with him, and nobody's been near him today.
Oh.
He was talking to me a while ago about how you asked questions, Maggie, and spent so much time with him, and he sounded kind of wistful.
Oh, I'm sorry. Be all right if I go down there in my robe, Mom?
Well, surely. Run along.
I'll tell him I did one good dive and I'm resting on my honors. I'll be back pretty soon.
Well, not through swimming already, Margaret.
I did one good dive, Grandfather. I'm afraid to break the charm.
Oh, no. You're out of practice, that's all. You'll get onto it again. Here.
Oh, no. I'll pull around a chair.
Oh, it's a handsome white robe.
Dan bought it for me. The suit, too.
Yeah, very pretty. Here, put my book down.
Okay.
How long will Daniel be in Chicago?
Oh, he doesn't know, Grandfather. He's trying to get the furniture contract for a new hotel.
Oh, I don't wish him any delay, but it's nice to have you and your mother here with the rest of us.
Uh-huh. Sky Ranch is prettier than ever this year.
Nicholas is forever improving it.
Mm-hmm. My, it's quiet and nice down here.
Yeah. Pleasant spot, eh? Yeah. I love my hammock. Nothing so restful ever devised by the mind of man. No bed can equal it. No couch. Nothing. Get into a hammock and you relax every muscle.
Oh, remember when I used to come down and swing you, Grandfather?
Huh? Oh, yes, indeed. I do remember. I would see a little sundress flitting through the trees, and here you would be, eager to spend the day with me.
I often think about the talks we had.
Do you, my dear?
Oh, sure. I remember lots of nice times with you, Grandfather.
Yes. You're having a pleasant summer at home, Margaret?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Your mother tells me you're playing tennis, golf.
Uh-huh. I'm not very good at golf, but my tennis is better.
Oh, those things take practice.
I've been reading a lot, too, this summer, Grandfather. Uncle Paul's studio's empty most of the time, and it's full of wonderful books. I've discovered some great stories. I'd never read Robinson Crusoe until this summer, and Count of Monte Cristo. Gee, it's almost like being another person when you get deep into a book.
Yeah.
Count of Monte Cristo's about the best book I ever read. It's a story of vengeance.
Yes, reading is all well and good, Margaret, but you must spend some time with young people, too.
Oh, I do. I spend a lot of time with the girls.
Yeah.
You want me to swing you the way I used to years ago?
Yeah, please do.
You used to say, "Gently, Margaret, gently does it, if you please."
Why, my dear, this rolls the years away. Yeah. Having you here swinging this hammock, it turns back the clock.
Some of the happiest times I've ever known were here with you, Grandfather. Oh, have I told you lately? I love you very much.
The Barbours will be back in just a moment. On those days when you have a headache, do you find even little sounds annoying? That's a pencil in the hand of a nervous worker. He taps it that way to help him think. And what about the person at the next desk? Let's find out.
I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. Oh, not today. I've got such a headache, and that tapping is driving me crazy. Oh, if he doesn't stop, I'll scream.
Uh-oh, hold everything. We don't want this to get out of hand. Our point is proved. Little things become big things when you have a headache. Even the headache itself is a major concern. But it need not be. Not with Alka-Seltzer for command. Alka-Seltzer gives relief, speedy, refreshing relief. Yes, 1 or 2 Alka-Seltzer tablets in a glass of water, and you have a solution that contains one of the most effective pain relievers known to science. Tests prove the system absorbs more pain reliever faster from Alka-Seltzer. So why worry along with a headache? Prove to yourself that Alka-Seltzer can help you feel better fast. Try Alka-Seltzer by the glass at your drugstore soda fountain. Buy it by the package at the counter. Here's the family again.
Well, Father, I thought Margaret was here with you.
She decided to walk down to Meadow Creek with Betty and the children, Hazel. But I enjoyed my little chat with her. Yes, they grow up. You lose them. Get them back occasionally. Only for a little while. Yeah, that's the way it goes. One must be philosophical.
The folks who've tried Alka-Seltzer for relief from acid indigestion say it's the only way. Well, of course, there are other ways, but are they as speedy, as effective, as gentle? These are the important things. Alka-Seltzer is speedy, reducing excess gastric acidity in a hurry, yet so very gentle. It gives you relief without acid bounce back. That's because, unlike ordinary kitchen alkalizers, this effervescing, pleasant-tasting solution alkalizes enough, but not too much. You'll have to decide for yourself. But once you've tried Alka-Seltzer, once you discover how effective, how speedy, yet gentle it is, we believe it'll be your way to relief whenever acid indigestion causes discomfort. See the Alka-Seltzer display at your drugstore. Take a package home next time. One Man's Family is brought to you Monday through Friday at this time, transcribed, by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. In Chapter 30, Book 96, Jack Gets a Reprieve. Directed by George L. Fogel. This is a Carlton E. Morse production.
One Man's Family is dedicated to the mothers and fathers of the younger generation and to their bewildering offspring. Tonight we present Chapter 5, Book 48, entitled The Strength and the Glory of the Human Spirit. The spirit of the Barbour family has been somewhat subdued by their great loss. But having set their minds to the task of devoting themselves and their thinking to the world of the living, they're finding it much easier to go ahead with the daily tasks before them. There was one crisis which was reached and safely passed without anyone hardly realizing it but Dr. Thompson. That was Joan's struggle with pneumonia. Of course, the family was cognizant of the little girl's plight, and Paul and Hazel stood by at the hospital until the crisis had been reached and safely passed. But all the while, the weight of the other tragedy had been so heavily upon everyone. Joan was over the hump and on the mend before anyone quite realized what had happened. As was to be expected, each of the Barbours is reacting in a different manner to the tragedy. But only Mother Barbour seems to be entirely defeated. In the 9 days since the news came, she's not left her bedroom upstairs, has hardly left her bed. Now, dry-eyed and listless, she's refused to respond to any of the suggestions or remedies that Dr. Thompson has prescribed for her. Paul and Hazel are in the library discussing what's to be done.
Dad and Dr. Thompson were in with Mom for half an hour. Matter of fact, the doctor just left.
Yes, I saw Father down in the garden as I came in, but what did Dr. Thompson say?
Well, he said there was nothing fundamentally wrong with Mom. Said she naturally had suffered a shock when the news came, but to all intents and purposes, she'd recovered from that.
He says she has?
Yes. Naturally, she's getting along in years and recovers from any physical or mental setback more slowly, but actually, she's quite able to be up and around as soon as the spirit moves her.
In other words, it's simply the lack of will to want to get up and start living again.
Essentially, yes.
But doesn't he want us to get her up?
No, he said, until she found the moral strength within herself, we'd accomplish nothing by forcing her.
Mm-hmm. I see. But we can't just sit with folded hands and let her go on.
Well, Dr. Thompson's sending over a practical nurse to look after her.
He's doing what?
Well, after all, Hazel, you have your own house to look after, and Teddy's going to be busy most of next week taking entrance examinations for her nursing training. Betty isn't strong enough yet to look after her 2 babies and Mom in the house.
But with all the women in this family...
Well, can you actually spare the time and not neglect your children?
No, but for the time being...
Well, Dad's quite capable of paying a woman to look after things here for a little. And I've talked to the cook. She'll take care of the meals in the downstairs. And this practical nurse will look after Mom in the upstairs.
What is his father to say to all this?
Nothing. Seems quite willing to have it arranged for him.
Oh.
He's holding himself pretty well, but I think that's a full-time job for him. Less he has to worry about other things, the quicker he's going to get complete control of himself again.
I wonder if I should let Margaret bother him.
Oh, yes. Let her be with him as much as possible. Her cheerful little chatter is just what he needs to take him out of himself.
Mm-hmm. What time is this practical nurse coming?
Well, she was supposed to come right over. Any time now, I imagine. Oh, by the way, Dr. Thompson said I might drop in and see Joan for a couple of minutes this afternoon.
Oh, I'd like to go along.
Well, he said just one person today, and only for just a minute.
Paul, how in the world are we ever going to tell Joan about her mother?
Well, let's don't cross that bridge until we come to it. As soon as the woman arrives, I think I'll go over to the hospital.
All right. I'll sort of stay around for a while and see that she gets started right.
Yes, might be a good idea. That's probably her now. I'll let her in. Oh, hello, Margaret.
The doorbell just rang.
Yes, I came to answer it.
I'm going down the garden to be with Grandpa.
Yes, that's a good idea. You run along.
Yes, I think it's a good idea, too.
Oh, good afternoon.
I'm the practical nurse which Dr. Thompson sent over to look after poor Mrs. Barbour.
Yes, won't you come in, Mrs.
Mrs. Wilder, a widow woman.
Yeah, let me take your overnight case, Mrs. Wilder.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'm quite used to fetching and carrying for myself, having had no man to wait on me all these many years.
Yes, well, won't you step in the library a minute and meet my sister? I'm Paul Barbour, and it's our mother you're going to look after.
Poor lady.
Miss Wrighton, here, please. Hazel, this is Mrs. Wilder.
Oh, yes.
Mrs. Wilder, my sister, Mrs. Herbert.
You look an able-bodied woman, Mrs. Herbert.
Why, oh, yes, quite able. But you see, I have a house of my own and 3 small children to look after. Mrs. Wilder, are you well?
Well, I've never been a well woman, not since I can remember. But a body must do what she can to keep body and soul together.
But if you're ill, I mean, you're so bent over.
It's just like my doctor once said to me. What is a woman anyway but a backache walking around on 2 legs? The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
But do you think you're capable of doing some of it?
When a woman is left to her own devices to keep food in her mouth and a roof over her head, she does what she must. So now, if you'll take me to your mother, poor thing.
Well, I suppose so. Mrs. Wilder, will you wait in the hall just a moment? I want to speak to my brother.
Very well, Mrs. Herbert. Oh, this is a very much nicer house than I ever lived in before.
Paul, what in the world do you suppose possessed Dr. Thompson to send a person like that?
Well, maybe she was all he could get.
But the woman isn't well. All that feeling so sorry for herself and calling Mother a poor thing. Well, I don't know what in the world Mother will do if she says it in front of her.
Well, why not try and see how it works out? We can always get rid of her.
Well, if you think so.
Oh, sure, go ahead. You take her up, huh? I'm going to run over to the hospital for a few minutes.
Yes, you go on. Oh, did I hear Margaret's voice out in the hall?
Yes, she was just going down the garden to be with her grandfather.
I'll probably be upstairs for quite a little. I just wanted to be sure where she was.
Huh? Is that you, Margaret?
Oh, Grandpa, you're down on your knees in the wet ground.
I'm not on the ground. I'm kneeling on a rubber pad.
Are you planting something?
Yes, yes. Putting in the last of my winter garden.
Oh, well, could I help you?
Well, the ground's wet and soft. You be careful you don't muddy yourself.
But what about you?
Oh, I've got on my garden clothes. Suppose you just stand and talk to me while I work.
Okay. Well, it's going to rain again.
Yeah, I haven't the least doubt of it. Hand me that little basket of bedding plants.
This?
Yeah, thank you.
Would you like to plant things, or why do you?
Well, certainly I like planting things. Besides, don't you know that the month of November has been dedicated to food?
November?
Yes, yes. Food Fights for Freedom Month.
I didn't know that.
Well, it is. Produce and conserve. Share and play fair.
Well, what does that mean?
Yes. You know what produce means, don't you?
Grow more food, you mean?
Certainly. And you know what conserve means?
That means to can food.
Yes, I suppose it does. But it also means not to waste food.
Mommy makes Hank and Pinky and me eat everything we take on our plates, and she won't let us waste a thing.
Good for her. That's a small stroke for victory right in your own home. Do you know that?
I don't eat half as much as Hank and Pinky.
Well, girls don't.
Why?
Well, their little interior mechanisms are more delicate.
Oh. What were those other things?
Eh? What other things?
About conserve and preserve.
Not conserve and preserve. Produce and conserve.
And what else?
Produce and conserve and share and play fair.
I know what share means. That's to give somebody else part of what you've got.
Exactly. Those of us with plenty must divide with those who have little. Not only as individuals, but as a nation.
So there won't be any hungry people any place? Was that the reason, Grandpa?
That's the reason. And you know what play fair means.
Don't cheat.
Exactly. Don't cheat with food. Give everyone an equal opportunity to get his share. And don't pay more than top legal prices, or give away or accept ration stamps.
Well, that's a slogan, isn't it? Preserve and conserve.
No, not preserve and conserve. Produce and conserve.
Produce and conserve and share and play square. That's a slogan, isn't it?
Yes.
Grandpa. You aren't planting any turnips, are you?
You don't like turnips?
Well, that's the parsnips. I hate them worst of all.
Who ever heard of a little girl not liking turnips and parsnips?
Well, I hate them.
Yeah. I'll bet the little girls and boys in China and Russia and England would thoroughly enjoy sitting down to a kettle of turnips and parsnips.
I like them nuts.
Huh? That's what?
Nuts in the more of ours.
Yeah.
You know something, Grandpa?
What is it, child?
I'm awfully glad you again.
Huh?
Oh, now we're friends again.
Yes.
Yesterday you looked right at me and didn't even see me.
Did I, indeed?
But today you're not that way at all.
I know, Margaret. Before you came out, I was here on my knees, working and thinking, and pretty much the same thought came to me. Deep within me is an aching void. And yet, well, I can only explain it by suggesting that the human spirit is naturally optimistic, naturally cheerful. So, in spite of my dreary emptiness, I find myself able to think and speak of other matters.
Are you talking about Aunt Claudia?
I'm speaking of your Aunt Claudia. And now that we have done so, let's talk of something else.
Okay.
Who's that coming down?
Oh, it's Aunt Irene and Uncle Clifford.
Is it indeed? What brings them up from the dairy ranch?
I don't know. Hello, Uncle Cliff. Hello, Aunt Irene.
Hi, Rabbit.
Did you bring Skippy with you?
No, not this time. Hello, Father Barbour. You look busy this afternoon.
Yes, planting. What are you two doing up from the dairy ranch?
Well, we haven't been in for 3 or 4 days. Just felt that we wanted to come.
Will you excuse me? I see Hank and Pinky.
Okay, you run along.
Okay, but I'll be back pretty soon.
Hey, Dad, isn't that wet earth awfully cold for you to be working in without gloves?
I never wear gloves when I'm working in the soil.
But your hands are almost blue. Don't they feel cold?
I hadn't thought about it.
Why don't you come on in, Father Barbour, and warm them in front of the fire?
I'm almost finished here.
How's Mom?
Ailing?
Oh, she's still in her room?
That's right.
Well, what does Dr. Thompson say?
Well, he was here this morning. He's sending in a practical nurse to take care of her.
Practical nurse?
But, Dad, that sounds like she was going to be down for a long time. Is that what it means?
I don't know what it means. I think for once in his life that Fred Thompson is at the end of his resources.
Well, doesn't he give any explanation?
He says physically she's all right. He says it's her spirit that's broken.
Mother Barbour's spirit broken? I don't believe that.
Well, you're welcome to believe what you choose. I can't comfort her or get any comfort from her myself.
Mom has always been such a resolute person.
And she still is. For goodness sakes, you folks, give her a chance.
But Irene, Mom's never done anything like this. Never in her whole life.
And nothing's ever struck her down like this before. Well, don't you understand? You people just mustn't put on long faces and act as though you thought Mother Barbour had come to the end of her rope. You just mustn't. Things like that influence people too much. She'll recover all right if you let her alone. It's only if everyone insists on making a useless old woman out of her that she'll become one.
Hey, that isn't what I meant at all.
Well, that's the way everybody sounds. I hope you're cheerful around her, Father Barbour.
Yeah. I can't say that I've been outstanding in my cheerfulness around anyone the past week or so. There. That's all I can do today.
Everything planted?
Here, Dad. I'll help you up off your knees.
Well, since when haven't I been able to get to my feet alone?
Well, I'll carry these tools and things up to the basement for you.
Yeah. Put the small hand tools in the basket there.
Oh, yeah. There we are. They're all set.
Yeah.
Are you coming up to the living room as soon as you change and clean up?
I expect so.
Oh, we stopped by the hospital to see whether we could see Joan on our way in. But they wouldn't let us.
Fred Thompson told Paul that he could see her for a moment this afternoon.
Why, Paul?
Well, just one person allowed, and she asked for him.
Is that where he is now? At the hospital?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I heard his car go out of the garage just a short time ago.
All right, nurse. I'll only stay with her a minute. Well, hello there, Joan. Didn't know whether I'd find you awake or not.
Yes.
I hear you've been asking for me.
Yes, I haven't been feeling very good.
That's what Dr. Thompson tells me, but he says you're over the worst now and isn't going to be any time at all until you're as good as new.
I wish they wouldn't make me eat.
Well, look here, that's what's going to make you strong. Good, nourishing food's going to put pink back in those cheeks and fire back in your eyes.
I get so tired.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel.
You do?
Mm-hmm. You want me to tell you about it?
Well, if you want to.
Well, I had the worst case of not wanting to ever eat again in the history of medicine. At least I thought I did. You see, it was in the last war, and I'd had a little trouble with the wrong end of a German machine gun up in the air. And by the time I got my plane down on the ground, I didn't know up from down, so I kind of rammed the fuselage into a tree. Anyway, I woke up in the hospital pretty well bunged up, and for a couple of weeks, I guess I must have felt pretty much like you've been feeling the past week.
Sometimes I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm. My condition exactly. Well, pretty soon they decided I was going to stay alive, and then came the business of eating. Food, eating. I didn't even want to bother to open my mouth.
Oh, dear.
Have you tried ice cream?
I can't swallow it, Paul. I just can't.
Well, you keep trying, you will. You'll be surprised how soon you will.
Paul,
Yes?
Claudia doesn't know about me, does she?
No, Joe.
Uh-huh. Would you tell everybody something?
Mm-hmm, I certainly will.
I'm really not mad at the Barbours. I'm awful sorry I ran away.
Well, let's not even think about it, huh?
I was sorry right after I did it, and I wanted to come right back to Grandma and Grandpa's, but I just couldn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I stayed long enough. You look like you needed some sleep.
Couldn't you stay just a little while longer?
Well, only if you close your eyes and go to sleep.
Well, will you tell everybody for me?
Mm-hmm, I promise. Now close your eyes.
Yes. Paul.
Yes.
Paul, why do I have such bad dreams all the time?
Oh, people often have bad dreams when they're ill.
I feel like I lost something, and it makes me want to cry all the time.
Well, in another week you'll have forgotten all about it.
Don't go away till I'm really asleep.
No.
Talk to me while I'm going to sleep. Maybe then I won't dream.
Well, let's see. It's November. How will this do? And now it is November. And now the sun leans farther to the south, shining with a glassy, heatless light. And almost all the trees are bare of limb and stem. The mist of dawn is high and still like a frozen blanket or a suspended curtain, and the smoke of morning fires curls from the chimney tops to rise straight and lithe in the motionless air. And the bark of a dog a mile away comes sharp and crisp and exciting. And little crystals that might have been ice glisten on the surface of the water pitcher. The fogged windows of the warm breakfast kitchen makes that room cozy and isolated and friendly. And the water boiling for the morning eggs is friendly. And the percolator is friendly. And the smell of toasting bread is friendly. And the murmuring voices of people rising from their beds in the upper reaches are friendly. For now, it is November. And in the middle of the day, the morning dew still clings to the brown, dead, rumpled grass, and the underside of a fallen leaf is still wet in the heatless sun. The caw of a crow is raucous and lonesome in the middle of the day, and the spice of chrysanthemums and apples and burning leaves is in the air. Downtown, the traffic is brisk and cheerful and purposeful. But out on the ocean edge where Sea Cliff is, there's no movement at all, except perhaps a bundled child peering through a picket fence, or a large bird coasting by on dejected wing. It is more than the quiet of a dignified street in a good neighborhood. It is the quiet of recumbent nature, resting, gathering her strength for winter's bluster. For now it is November. And in the evening of November's day, the porch lights make luminous puddles in the early dark, and any crispness that the daylight had now melts down into a cold, soggy blanket of night. And the living room glows and is alive with movement, and the hearth fire snaps and sizzles over a green log. Here it is that human beings gather closer for warmth and friendliness and cheerfulness and companionship. Laughter and chatter and pleasantness within, barricaded against the damp, gloomy, prowling restlessness without. For now it is November, and white-tusked, shaggy winter only waits to be upon us. Sound asleep.
Yeah, Hazel. Dad said he was coming here to the living room as soon as he cleaned up a little bit. But tell me about this practical nurse.
Well, her name's Mrs. Wilder, and the poor old thing apparently has had experience, but why in the world Dr. Thompson ever sent over a person like that?
Oh, you say she's all bent over?
Yes. She says it's a backache. Well, undoubtedly it is, but I also suspect it's an arthritic condition.
Boy, Dr. Thompson must be short of nurses.
That seems to be the answer.
Well, what happened when you took her upstairs?
Oh, she changed into her uniform and then politely invited me out of the upstairs unless I have business up there.
She just took over?
Well, she made it quite plain that she didn't like people underfoot. All the time she was grumbling and sniffling and sighing as though she were being put upon terribly.
Great company for Mom.
Oh, there you are, Father Barbour.
Yes.
Here, let me see those hands.
Huh? My hands are all right.
Now, I ask you, Hazel, look at those hands. Working out in that cold, wet ground without gloves?
Oh, Father, why would you do a thing like that? They're almost blue with cold. Here, sit down, Father.
Yeah. Has that woman come yet?
The nurse? Yes, Father.
What's she like?
Well, her name is Mrs. Wilder, and she's a widow woman.
Huh?
At least that's what she calls herself.
Well, this is where you've all gathered.
Oh, hi there, Paul.
Are you back from the hospital already?
Yes, I could only stay a minute. Joan went to sleep while I was there.
Oh, poor baby.
She wants you all to know she isn't angry with the Barbours.
Huh?
And she's very sorry she ran away.
Yeah.
And she's going to be all right?
Yes, it'll take some time, but she'll be all right.
Hey, Mom. Mom, what are you doing down here?
Oh, Mother, are you all right?
Well, I'm certainly better off than that poor woman upstairs who was trying to wait on me.
Fanny, my dear.
Who brought her into this house?
Why, Dr. Thompson sent her.
Did he indeed? Wait till I get a hold of him. I'll certainly put a bug in his ear.
But, Mother Barbour, where is Mrs. Wilder?
I made her go to bed.
Oh, what? You made her go to bed?
Certainly. The poor creature's a lot sicker than I am.
Mother.
Well, she is. I've got her tucked in with a hot water bottle, and now I'm going out in the kitchen and fix her some good, nourishing kitchen broth.
Well, what do you know?
Fanny, You're wonderful.
Just heard Chapter 5, Book 48 of One Man's Family, written and produced by Carlton E. Morse. Chapter 6, entitled Further Relationships Between Joan and Her Family, will come to you next week at this same hour.
This is One Man's Family. One Man's Family is dedicated to the mothers and fathers of the younger generation and to their bewildering offspring. Today transcribed, we present Chapter 12, Book 72, entitled A Touch of Christmas Spirit. Early on this December day, a pelting rain washed the air and swept the streets and waterfront of San Francisco. And now, in the afternoon, from the hills of Seacliff through bright winter sunshine, you can see the green of distant countryside, and sharply outlined above the water, the graceful span of the Golden Gate Bridge. There is the faint fragrance of wood smoke in the air, for this is the season for hearth fires and pungent eucalyptus wood. The holiday season in California is like the Christmas season everywhere. Houses snug against the chill of wintry weather, and an air of expectancy about the land. In the cozy library in the family home in Seacliff, Mother Barbour is having a heart-to-heart talk with Clifford.
Christmas means so much to your father, Clifford. When he comes back from his walk, why don't you sit down and talk with him for a little while and make up?
Mom, make up? What do you mean? We're getting along fine.
You're formal, Clifford.
Huh?
Clifford, you're formal with each other. Now, you know you are. He hasn't forgotten that fuss you had about Paul, and you haven't either. Why don't you just pretend it didn't happen? He's beginning to feel the Christmas spirit, I think. He's humming Christmas songs under his breath.
Well, I don't know what more I can do, Mom.
Well, you can talk Christmas with him. He loves to just sit and talk about Christmas. Listen. Henry!
Yes, Fanny. Have you looked out at this wintry day? It's a beautiful, sparkling afternoon.
There's a nice fire here in the library, too. Come on in. You see, he's just as happy as he can be. Now, don't spoil it and act so formal with him.
Yeah, I know, Mom. I've been trying.
Just forget you had a fuss. Just erase it.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Yes, Clifford. Fanny, I tell you, there's no season like it. When I came along the street just now, the fragrance of wood smoke and the crisp wintry air, why, real Christmas weather. Doesn't that fire smell good? It's nice and warm here. There's nothing like the smell of a good, crackling eucalyptus fire.
Well, did you have a nice walk, Dad?
Yes. I saw Margaret and Penelope and Sharon, and every one of them had that special, bright, expectant look you see on children's faces at this time of the year. They're counting the days now, you know. They were roller skating to a little chant. 9 more days, Saturday, Sunday, 9 more days.
Why don't you and Clifford both sit down here, and I'll bring a plate of Christmas cookies and some tea.
Oh, not tea, Fanny. I'll tell you what I'd like. Milk, Crisp Christmas cookies and a glass of milk. Eh, Clifford?
Well, I'm not very hungry, thanks. We just had lunch, Dad.
But I've been walking. You bring it in, Fanny. He won't be able to resist Christmas cookies when he sees them. They're the star-shaped ones, Clifford, sprinkled with those little candies. We'll gedunk them, eh? That's what's good. Christmas cookies gedunked in rich cold milk.
You both sit down, and I'll be right back.
noticed the bridge out there, Clifford? Why, it's so clear this afternoon you can almost see the nuts and bolts in it.
Yeah, Dad, it sure stands out, doesn't it?
Yes. It was the rain this morning. Washed everything.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Where did you go on your walk?
Oh, I drove down, walked along the waterfront. Paul been home?
Yeah, he had lunch at the airport and just came home to change his clothes. He's going shopping with Christine Abbott this afternoon.
He'll be home for dinner, did he say?
I don't think so, Dad.
Dinner with Mrs. Abbott again?
That's right.
Yes. I understand we're going to telephone Nicholas in London on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Claudia's got the number where he'll be.
I used to think when I was reading so much Dickens, I'd like to be in London some Christmas with the Christmas carolers and the English puddings and the big old fireplaces. Well, now I know that never in my life do I want to be anywhere but right here at Christmas, Clifford. Do you realize that parts of California are like the land of the Nativity, my boy? Huh? Yes, and we, of all people in America, could truly celebrate Christmas with the same sort of plants and flowers for decorations that might be used in Bethlehem. Yes. Oh, Fanny, come in. We're having a fine Christmassy talk.
Oh, here, Mom, let me help. Oh, hey, a pitcher of milk. Why the extra glasses?
I saw Hazel heading this way, and Claudia may drop in.
Here.
Thank you, Clifford. There. Now, put it right there.
Look at those Christmas cookies, eh? There's a nice tradition, I think. The Christmas cookies. They taste better than ever at this season.
Hazel stopped to talk to Nicolette, I think. But she'll be along. There, Henry.
Thank you, Eddie. Clifford? Go on. Fanny, pour another glass. He'll join me. I remember when Paul used to be around home more.
Now, Henry.
Yes. I was merely going to say that he used to like that as much as I do.
Hello, what's happening?
Oh, hi, Hazel. Come and see.
Hello, Hazel.
Oh, Mother. Mm-hmm. Why, Father, shame on you. I won't let the children do that. Cliff?
Hi.
You won't let the children dunk cookies? Oh, I'll have to have a talk with your children on Christmas morning, Hazel. I'll say that one's manners may bend with the season. Sit down.
Oh, I have a package out here that I want to hide first. I'll be right back.
That's the sort of thing that makes for excitement on the children's faces. The hidden packages. You open a closet door, and there in their colorful wrapping... Oh.
What is it, Henry?
I forgot. I have something hidden in the closet myself. I have a new and interesting new kind of Christmas wreath. I'll go...
Oh, I'll get it, Dad.
Oh, will you, Clifford? It's in the hall closet. It's a round package, brown paper.
Oh, okay, Dad.
When you were at Jack's the other day, Fanny, a young man came to the door here. He was working his way through college, a sophomore at Berkeley. And his father made plastic Christmas wreaths in his basement.
What did you say, Henry?
Plastic Christmas wreaths. Plastic, Fanny.
I never heard of such a thing.
Hey, isn't this it?
That's right. Here. Give it to me, Clifford. Thank you very much. Yes, the salesman was a very bright-faced, alert young man named Yonches, Wilbur Yonches. And his father's learned how to make plastic leaves and holly berries and plastic ribbons down in his basement.
Oh, really, Henry?
Yeah, a splendid idea, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah, then you don't have to go out and buy a new wreath each year. There it is, you see. You just put it away with the Christmas tree lights, and there it is. Yeah, I'll unwrap it. He showed me a sample, a little one, the day he was here. Very attractive. Oh, remember, Fanny? Remember the very morning that young man called you and said that I was reactionary. You remember? You said I was reluctant ever to accept anything new. You recall that, Fanny? Well, when I saw the sample of this plastic holly wreath, I didn't hesitate a moment. No. I recognized at once what advantages there would be in always having your holly wreath where you could put your hands on. Here, you and Mother and yeah, up to the minute. Yes. Like it? Well, you get off a little distance and you won't be able to tell it from the real thing, eh?
Oh, rather a pale green, isn't it, Henry?
No, Fanny. It's the shadows in here. Put the light on there, Clifford. The floor lamp.
I think he kind of went overboard with that plastic ribbon, don't you, Dad?
There. Look at it in the light, Fanny. Better? Fanny?
How much did you pay for that, Henry?
Well, now, Fanny, when you consider that with care it'll last for years...
How much, Henry?
Well, it isn't like a wreath that you use once and throw away.
Yes, I know, Henry, but how much did it cost?
Only $8. He was a young, hard-working sophomore at Berkeley, a very deserving boy.
Well, I think it's just terrible, Henry.
Huh?
Look at it. It's cheap-looking, Henry. Why, it's machine-made. It's just awful.
I like it.
You don't either like it. Now, stop pretending. Now, I won't put it on the door, Henry. That's final. I simply won't do it. $8. They ought to be ashamed.
We could hang it on the back door, maybe.
What in the world's that, Father?
Huh? Oh, Hazel. I've got a wreath for you. It's modernistic. Here you are, my dear. The wrapping paper's still here. I'll tie it up for you.
Oh, no, thanks, Father. Thanks very much, but I always buy my wreaths, real ones, from the Girl Scouts, little friends of Margaret's, you know. What's so funny?
Oh, now, Clifford, I like it.
Hello, who's home?
It's Claudia.
Hey, Claude, we're in here in the library.
Oh, coming.
Put that awful thing out of sight, Henry.
Oh, what a glorious day, isn't it? Hello, everybody.
Hi. Well, you are in a glow.
Oh, God's in his heaven and all's right with the world. Mom, Dad, how are you, Hazel?
Fine.
How's my twin?
Strike gold somewhere, Claude?
Oh, the most wonderful thing happened. I wrote Nicky airmail the other day, and said we'd phone him Christmas. I asked him to give me a phone number where he'd be Christmas Day. Well, at 2:00 this afternoon, the phone rang, and a voice said, London, England, calling. And then there were some clipped British voices, and then he said, I say, old girl, what did you want my phone number for? So you could give me a ring.
Oh, how wonderful. Who was calling from where? Nicky?
From England, Mom, from London. He was reading my letter, he said, and suddenly he just couldn't stand it anymore. He hadn't thought of calling us. It hadn't occurred to him until then. So he promptly put in a call, and in no time he said there we were chatting as if he were right next door. So he's decided to call us here Christmas morning so he can talk to everybody.
Frightfully expensive, isn't it?
Well, I'd rather have a long-distance phone call than a plastic wreath, Henry. Much rather. Anytime.
Oh, he sounded just wonderful. He sent his love to everybody. And he can come home, he thinks, sometime in January. Oh, it was grand. You know, Hazel, when I heard him, I felt as if I'd just been holding my breath, waiting. Holding my breath until he got home again. Now I'm breathing once more.
And it becomes you, Claudia.
I told him his package arrived today. It did, this morning. A big package. Presents for everybody. And he was relieved about that.
No wonder you look thrilled, my dear.
Oh, Mom. Oh, and now at last I feel like putting up some Christmas decorations.
Huh?
Oh, I haven't done very much so far, Dad. But now I've got the Christmas spirit, too.
Yes. Well, I've got something right here for you, Claudia. Here. Hang this on the front door, eh? There's something to start with.
What's this?
Plastic. The latest thing made.
It was either made by an honest, nearsighted old man in a basement, or it was machine-made by guys who just didn't care. We don't know which.
The young man. The sophomore from Berkeley, Dad. Was he the one?
Huh?
What's that, Claudia?
Oh, terrific salesman, isn't he, Dad? Nicky bought 2 of them from him last year. Only he was a senior at Santa Clara then.
You say Nicky bought 2 of them?
Yes, poor darling.
Oh, Dad, where are you going?
I'm going to phone Jack. He can't afford a Christmas wreath anyway, so he'll be glad to have it. I'll go get him on the phone.
That'll be swell, Dad. Uh-huh. Sure, come on over. Oh, Betty's downtown doing some Christmas shopping. Yeah. No, Nicolette's here. We're holding down the fort. Okay, Dad, I'll see you in a little while. Bye. Dad said he had a new kind of Christmas wreath he wants to bring over.
Oh, has he been making it?
No, this is something special he bought. Thought it would look nice hanging on our front door.
I think Betty said she was going to get a wreath while she was downtown today.
Oh, is she? Gosh, I wish Dad had let us know sooner so we could have saved that dough.
Yes. Jack, would you hand me that sewing basket there?
Yeah. Here you are, Nicolette.
Thank you.
Oh, I've got all these clothes folded up. What can I do now?
Nothing. Everything is just about done, except this little bit of mending. And I don't think you would be very good at doing that.
I don't know. I've learned to do about everything else. Probably only a question of time before I'll be doing mending.
Oh, Jack.
What's so funny? I can wash, I can iron, cook a little, scrub, and how? Make beds. In fact, I think I can qualify as an expert housewife, Nicolette.
Yes, I think you could. It is pretty hard to have the responsibility of 6 small children, isn't it?
Oh, I was only kidding. Gosh, you're the one who takes over most of the burden. I don't know what Betty and I would do if it weren't for you, Nicolette. We thank our lucky stars every night that you're with us.
And I thank mine that I'm with you. So.
Oh, I know you don't want me to keep talking about it, but gosh, Nicolette, we do feel kind of guilty sometimes the way you work around
Now,
here.
Jack, I won't listen to that silly talk. If you have the...
Okay, now, just let me say one thing more, and then I'll drop it.
What is that?
Well, Betty and I want you to know that we've felt that lately, because of what's been happening, you might like to leave, and you won't because of us. What I'm getting at is we want you to feel free to do just as you please, to do whatever will make you happy, see?
And what has been happening lately that I might want to leave?
Well, maybe it's all my imagination.
You mean because of Paul? Is that it?
Well, yeah. I don't know quite how to say this, but we think Paul is crazy to pass up a wonderful girl like you.
Jack, listen to me. I know exactly where I stand with Paul. We understand each other perfectly. We have for a long time. I have a deep, warm feeling for him that I shall never lose. We have a friendship which I will always cherish. But it does not go beyond that for either of us. So if Paul is finding happiness with whatever is going to make him happy is going to make me happy too. Can't you see that?
There aren't many people in this world as unselfish as you are.
I am not so unselfish. I work hard here because it gives me joy. And look what I get in return. I have a home, something I never had in all my life. I have your and Betty's children who adore me, who give me such love and affection as I never experienced. The whole Barbour family has taken me to its heart and given me security and a feeling of being wanted and needed. All of these are precious to me, Jack. They have repaid me 1,000 times over for the little efforts I have made here in your home.
Oh, I can see what you mean, all right, but I can't help... Oh, that must be Dad. Dad?
Yes.
Nicolette and I are in here.
Yeah, get some of these wraps off. Yeah, done up like a mummy.
Done up like a mummy, did he say?
Yes.
Got enough clothes on for an Arctic expedition. Fanny insists on my putting on more wraps and mufflers. Oh, how are you, Nicolette, mate?
Oh, I'm just fine, Father Barbour, thank you.
Yes, occupied as usual.
Sit down, Dad.
Yes. You said Betty was out shopping, eh?
Yeah, not many days before Christmas now. I told her I'd help Nicolette around home this afternoon if she'd take care of that end of it. I don't want any part of that crush. Betty loves to mill around in the stores at Christmas time, though.
Can't understand how anyone would like all that confusion being pushed and shoved about.
Oh, there's an excitement about it, Father Barbour. Everything is so gay and cheerful.
It's been my observation that everybody looks pretty harassed about this time of year when you go to a store.
Yeah, even Santa Claus.
Everybody in a hurry, clerks impatient, women walking up and down aisles, picking things up and dropping them without even looking at them, just to add to the general confusion. Yes. Oh, where are all the children?
Oh, speaking of confusion, huh? The triplets are sleeping, Father Barbour. The others went out to play right after they had their lunch.
And let's let well enough alone. Peace, it's wonderful. Say, where's that wreath you were going to bring over, Dad?
Oh, yes. I left it there in the hall when I took off my coat.
I'll get it.
Wait, let me tell you about it first. It's a bit different than the ordinary run-of-the-mill sort of thing, you see. Modern. And very practical, too. Use it year after year, and always looks new. Just the sort of thing for a young family that has to watch expenses.
How interesting. Where did you get that, Father Barbour?
Oh, you just wait, Nicolette. Wait till you see it. And they won't be common either. No, sir. Can't pick up one of these in the store.
Well, I'm going to go get it. You got me curious, Dad. Right out here, huh?
Yes, it's right by the hall chair, Jack.
Is Mother Barbour feeling well?
Oh, Well, it could be expected under the circumstances, I suppose.
Why, I saw her yesterday. I thought she seemed fine.
Oh, nothing that you can put your finger on. It's just that Paul is keeping us all in a state of apprehension, more or less, wondering just what he's up to is... the very name is repugnant. Knowing how I feel about you, I'm sure you can understand why.
Where did Jack go? Jack?
I'm coming.
Yes, probably out there admiring the wreath. You find it?
Yes, Dad.
Of course, you must realize when you first see this decoration, Nicolette, this is different. It's, yes, there we are. What do you think of it, Jack?
Well, it sure is different, isn't it?
Exactly what I was saying to Nicolette. Different, unusual.
Oh, what is it? I mean, what is it made of, Father Barbour?
Plastic. Hand-done, of course. Nice blending of modern science and handicraft.
Well, Dad,
Very reasonable, too, when you stop and think it'll last a lifetime.
Oh, sure. But I just happened to think...
I think I heard one of the triplets cry out, "Excuse me, I'll run up and see if they're all right."
Huh? I didn't hear anything.
I'll only be a second.
Oh, Jack, shall I help you? We can hang it on the door right now. Surprise Betty when she gets home.
Well, that's what I was going to tell you, Dad. I just remembered that Betty is going to buy a wreath while she's downtown today. We won't be able to use two, so why don't you give this to somebody else?
Yes.
Well, I sure appreciate it, though. Did you buy it especially for us? If you did, we'll put it up and find another place for the one Betty gets.
No, as a matter of fact, I bought it thinking your mother would like it.
And didn't she?
No, she didn't. You don't either, eh?
Well, it's a little corny, if you don't mind my saying so.
Something told me I'd been stuck after I bought it, but as your mother always says, I die hard.
Yeah. Well, what do we do with it?
Plastic burns nicely, doesn't it? Might make a nice blaze for our Christmas fire, eh?
Let's put all the packages right here on the big library table, Paul.
You poor man. You can hardly see over that loaf.
Well, you can take a couple of these off the top, Chris.
Well, I put mine down. I'll help you. Oh, there. Now, I'll give you a hand, Santa Claus.
Good. Now I have a little better vision.
Right there will be fine, Paul.
Oh, is that breakable?
Oh, no. No harm done. Those are Sharon Ann's doll dresses.
How can you tell? There are dozens of packages here.
I've got them marked. How would we be able to tell when we start wrapping if we didn't?
I hadn't thought of it, I guess. I always used to have them gift wrapped at the store, and my worries were over.
Oh, but don't you think it'll be a lot more fun to wrap them ourselves? We can make them much prettier than a store can.
Well, I'm sure you can, Chris, but I warn you that I'm not going to be much help. When I try to wrap a package, I really butcher it. The paper gets all wrinkled, the stickers won't stick, the ribbon breaks, the pig won't jump over the stile, and I shan't get home tonight.
I think all this Christmas shopping has made you addled. Wasn't it fun?
Oh, it was wonderful. I don't know what I would have done without you, Chris. Shopping done for the whole family, and you helped me pick out the perfect gift for each one.
I do hope they like everything. You know, it might be wise not to tell them I helped you, though. It might dampen their enthusiasm. Oh, Paul, forget I said that. Can you? It was stupid.
I wish there was some way I could convey to all of them the thought and interest that you put into each one of these gifts. Honestly, it's amazing how you seem to know just what was the right thing for everybody.
I feel as though I know them, Paul. Well, I think I'll change into a comfortable dress, and then we'll start to wrap. I feel all gussied up in this outfit.
You sure you're not tired? We can do this another time if you like.
Oh, I'm not a bit tired, and I love to fix Christmas packages. Maybe it's because I want to show you how clever I am at it.
Fine. Well, I'll lick stickers.
You sound pretty good here.
Oh, Rex, we didn't hear you come in.
Hi, Rex.
Hi, yourself. What are you going to do, open a branch store? I never saw so many packages.
Just help me do my Christmas shopping today.
Oh, Rex, we got some adorable things for the children.
What children?
Paul's nieces and nephews. And there are quite a few of them, you know. Starting with Jack, you got 6 right there.
I'm sure they just love to know that you had anything to do with selecting the things. I'd better not tell them, Paul.
Now, Rex, you just stop right now. Paul and I are all filled with a wonderful Christmassy feeling, and we're not going to have you dampen it. We've had a glorious day, and we're going to spend the rest of the afternoon doing packages, and we're going to have fun doing it. So, you just run along if you're not in the holiday spirit.
What a sister, eh, Paul? Don't you love it the way she tells me off? Ever done it to you?
Not yet. I think she's been tempted, though.
I'm going to change. You can talk about me while I'm gone. I won't be long, Paul.
All right.
Christmas. You really like it, Paul?
Sure. I'm crazy about Christmas, aren't you?
It depresses me. The whole holiday season depresses me. I feel as though I want to be off on a mountaintop, all alone until it's over.
Why do you feel that way, do you suppose?
Oh, I guess it's because we had such miserable Christmases when we were kids. No money for presents. Never asked any of the houses around here to see the trees and all the grand decorations. Chris would get some kid's cast-off doll here in the neighborhood. Your mother sent over one of Cliff's suits he didn't wear anymore for me one Christmas, I remember. You know, that sort of thing. Gave me a feeling that the whole thing was a farce. That it was unfair for all the kids around Seacliff to have so much when, well, we didn't have anything. Made me bitter, and I've never been able to get over it, that's all.
Doesn't seem to have made Chris bitter.
Haven't I been telling you? That gal was something special.
You don't need to tell me. I found it out for myself.
I think you have. You know, if you hadn't liked Chris, I couldn't have gone on liking you, Paul. That's how crazy I am about my sister. You asked why she didn't become bitter. I wish I knew. I'd take the treatment. She has 10 times more reason to be bitter than I have. She not only had miserable Christmases as a kid, but you know how she spent most of her holidays all the time she was married to Stu Abbott? In hotel rooms, trying to sober him up enough to take a look at the pathetic little tree she'd gone out and bought. She's stuck with that rotter. Stuck with him even after she knew she didn't love him because she felt she might get him off that bottle some way, somehow. I tell you, Paul, I could kill anybody who would hurt that girl after what she's been through.
I can understand how much you love her, Rex.
Can you? Can you really, Paul? If I
Rex, you look much too serious for the Christmas season. We will dismiss you, Rexy, if you leaden up our party.
Okay, teacher.
He wasn't leadening things up, Chris.
Huh?
He was being very interesting. He was telling me what Christmas was like when you and he were kids.
Oh, no. Rex, why do you have to go into that? You know, he loves to get way down in the depths and be tragic. Oh, come on, don't pout, Rex. And give me a kiss because I love you. Neurotic as you are.
Okay, give me some paper. I'll even wrap presents.
No, I don't trust you with that. That's only for an artist's hands. You can be a flunky with me. When my mouth gets dry, you can lick Christmas seals.
We'll let Rex hold the knot with his finger while I tie the boxes. Huh?
You keep on like this and you'll lose me altogether. I'm no menial. I have me servants to tend to those tasks, I'll have you know.
Okay, Mr. Gotrocks, just sit back while I get these packages sorted. Now, let's see. Oh, Paul, help me get the children's packages all in one pile, huh?
Right.
Here, Rex. Oh, look, I want you to see. Look at this paper I found to do up the young one's presents. Oh, wait, I open it. Isn't that adorable? Oh, I think the wrappings are more beautiful this year than I've ever seen them. Oh, Paul, where's all the ribbon we bought?
Oh, here we are, right here in this bag.
Oh.
See how efficient I am, Rex? Isn't that amazing?
No question about it. What do I get to lick? I feel out of things.
Oh, the stickers don't come for a long time yet. But you're rusty. You better start getting in training. Have you warmed up yet?
Don't worry about me, Coach. I'll be right in there pitching until the last whistle blows.
You're both a little mad. You know that, don't you? You got those stacked, Paul?
Yep, mission completed.
All right. Now, let's start with Jack's children, shall we? Might as well go about it systematically.
Okay, does it matter which one, or shall I just pick at random? Let's see, Mary Lou, how's that?
Fine, good. Now, you can be writing the card while I wrap. We'll make a production line out of this.
All right, let's see. Cards. Where have the little cards gone?
This guy's a nut, Chris. Is that what Christmas does?
Here we are. Uh-oh, no pen.
Oh, that's right. Now, there's a job for you at last, Rex.
There's a pen right there on the desk, Chris.
Dry. I tried it last night. Get yours like a good boy, huh? Or get mine if you like. It's right inside my little desk.
Have no fear. I'll come back with something.
Oh, that's beginning to look wonderful, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Put your finger on the knot, will you?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You can take your hand away now.
I don't want to.
What?
If I leave it there, you have to touch me. You have such beautiful hands, Chris. So delicate and yet so strong and efficient.
They've become strong from playing the piano. Have you loved today, Paul, as much as I have? Really loved it?
Yes. And I loved it because I was with you. And because I love you.
I love you, Paul.
Chris, I have a box here in my pocket.
You want me to wrap it?
No, it's not a Christmas gift. It's a ring I want you to wear. It's a ring that says I want you to be my wife. Will you?
Yes, Paul, I'll wear your ring. I'll wear it proudly. Ever so proudly.
You've just heard Chapter 12, Book 72 of One Man's Family. Written, produced, and transcribed under the direction of Carlton E. Morse. Chapter 13, entitled Christmas Morning with the Barbours, will come to you next week at this same time.
What's on NBC today? Comedy by Phil Harris and Alice Faye, and great drama on Theater Guild on the Air. Maurice Evans and Edna Best recreate their original Broadway roles in the Browning version today on Theater Guild. There's always good listening on NBC, so keep tuned here. One Man's Family came to you from California. Now stay tuned for the Quiz Kids on NBC.
This is One Man's Family. One Man's Family is dedicated to the mothers and fathers of the younger generation and to their bewildering offspring.